is up, everybody? DanDanTheFireman here. We just watched a really badass 360 thing. I'm glad Indian Motorcycles came out with this for the FTR1200. And before I really jump into it, yes, I do have a deposit on the FTR1200, and I want to get the FTR1200 S, so I'm a little biased. I really want this bike to be amazing. If it's not, good thing, it's a refundable deposit. But anyways, let's go over some of the main things that we see in the video, and then I'm going to give you some of my ideas and just my opinions. I don't know too much about the mechanical stuff, you know, like the liquid cooled V-twin. Like, all those things are great and fancy and all, but I know some of you guys are going to rip me up in the comments. But let's go over the motor. It's the very first thing that they go into, and it's a new 1203cc liquid cooled V-twin with 120 horsepower.
We increased the port flow on the cylinder heads, as well as took out a whole bunch of weight from the cylinder heads. And we also took a bunch of weight out of the valve covers by going to magnesium and redesigning them to a single piece.
They do have a magnesium cover to reduce the weight, and it's like a single piece. What do you guys think about that? Is that going to mess anything up? Is it too one tone? Do you think you should have a two-tone type thing? I'm also interested in the low inertial crankshaft for faster revving. Is that going to play a huge difference in the way you're going to ride this bike? I don't know. We'll see. The next thing they have on here is the power assist slipper clutch. Now, this is going to be interesting because it's going to reduce rear wheel slip during deceleration for more control. That's what it says right there. That's pretty much what a slipper clutch does. But man, I wonder how fast you're going to be going to have to do this. I mean, this bike is insanely fast. It looks badass, and I'm super excited. So I'm glad they have some type of assistance on a lot of these things, and I'm glad they included a lot of advanced technology, or more. It's not even advanced. I'm just glad they included technology into a flat track / cruiser type bike, because honestly, this is still a V-twin. It's still a it's like a Scout custom basically, and a Scout is it basically is it's a cruiser, and now this is a flat track version of it. It's going to create a lighter pull, but I wonder if there's going to be adjustable levers and a few other things, because I'm really having a hard time finding a lot of the stuff on Harley, and Harley doesn't have as much technology compared to just even right now what we see in these first two slides. They don't even have that much really. So the next thing that we're going to see is the air box. Now it's directly below the fake gas tank, or like right in front of the fake gas tank, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but it's right above the dual throttle bodies to maximize the power. So it's literally just going in, out, in, out, in, out. It's just going to go in right into the engine. So I'm very excited. Hopefully it's a good design. It doesn't cause some issues later on, because this is a part of the design. And I know with Harley you can get different air boxes, you can get different air intakes that increase airflow. So hopefully this is not a problem. And maybe they won't even have to have aftermarket stuff. So this is what I was talking about, is the fuel tank. It's under the seat. It looks pretty cool. You can kind of see, it looks like up on the top right, that's where you fill it up. But I wonder what that little section is right underneath the main seat. I don't know what that little knob is. And then it looks like there's it looks like there's a fake gas cover or gas cap on the plastic part. I don't think that does anything, but I could kind of see, I don't know what all that stuff is. It might be oil. Well, it doesn't look like the oil, because it looks like the oil's down there on the right. Anyways, it's 3.4 gallon. I'm still speculating quite a bit. I can't wait to see this in person, but it's crazy how the gas tank is underneath you, so it lowers the center of gravity. And they say it's for better agility, but I can see that. So the frame is a tubular trellis style mainframe that optimizes rigidity and minimizes weight. In another video I saw, it says that the engine is actually part of the frame. It's like it's able to create the rigidity.
And we're using the engine as a structural member of the entire motorcycle. So we've got a swing arm pivot through the rear of the crankcase, and then we're grabbing onto the front cylinder. So we're using that whole engine as part of the stiffening feature for the motorcycle.
Because it's pretty a flexible frame. And when I see tubular, and when I see this type of stuff, I've seen the word modular used before. So what I'm thinking, and this is just speculation, is that there's possibly going to be a smaller cc engine that could be fitting in this frame. So possibly a 1000 cc, maybe 800 cc. Who knows? So the seat comes up with a 2-up seat. Now I think that's pretty cool and all, but I don't know if a lot of people are gonna be using 2-up on this. It's just great to have. I'm glad that they did this. I wonder what kind of seats are gonna be coming out in the aftermarket. There's gonna be single seats, I bet, with some type of plastics, or maybe just some really cool 2-up seats. I really like the stitching of aftermarket seats, the diamond stitching, and this doesn't have that, but that's not a big deal. You can see though that it's meant for more of an upright seating, and that's what it says, but it's pretty flat on the 2-up part, and then it's pretty narrow and flat on the rider, the actual rider, not the passenger. It looks pretty cool. Hopefully it's not super wide, because for me with the short inseam, that can cause some issues when I'm trying to sit down and trying to flat foot, and that's probably gonna be an issue because I got some specs towards the end of this. So the exhaust is a 2-1-2. Now this is probably the main thing that a lot of people do not like and that they kind of got upset about, is that it's not going to be that super duper high exhaust, kind of like the flat tracker, the tracker exhaust I had on my Sportster a little while back. But it's starting to grow on me. It's really starting to grow on me. And to be honest, this bike has a 7-inch clearance, so I don't think you're ever going to hit anything. I mean, my bike has a 3-inch clearance, and I sometimes hit stuff, but you're not going to hit anything on a 7-inch clearance. I think it looks cool. I think there's going to be some really cool aftermarket designs, especially S&S. I saw a picture on their Instagram that it pretty much was like the prototype, and I think that's badass. So you can definitely get some aftermarket stuff to change up the looks of everything. So they do have low and high mounted Akrapovic slip-ons as an accessory. Once again, I'll probably be looking into a full-on aftermarket exhaust and kind of see where that goes. So the inertial measurement unit, I've never had something like this. Now I know a lot of sport bikes have this, a lot of other advanced bikes like this, but my 2012 Sportster does not have anything like this. It doesn't have stability control, traction control, wheelie mitigation control, and ABS in the S model only. Now, like I said, I have a deposit and I will be getting the S model. So, I mean, I will be having ABS. I've never had ABS in one of my bikes. Oh, take that back. Nikki, her bike has ABS, but I've never had to use it. And I've actually slammed the brakes pretty hard and it's never kicked in. So it's really for those emergencies only. I'm really interested in the technology that's being placed in here, and this is the measurement unit that is causing a lot of the cool tech. So the rear suspension is part of the tubular steel swing arm. They say it's designed by, or it's inspired by the FTR1200 race bike. I think that's cool. A lot of the stuff, like I said, is above my high, my low mechanical level. But so the fully adjustable monoshock is the S model only. So I'm guessing this is just gonna be a regular monoshock. Is that upgradable? I'm not too sure. So we'll see about that. So the front suspension, I've always wanted to have inverted shocks or inverted forks on my Sportster when I was taking it off road, because from what I understand, they're like amazing. And honestly, the Sportster's front forks are not designed, front shocks are not designed for off-road. So this is actually pretty cool though. I like the color. I've always liked the color. It's really badass. It's 43 millimeter inverted cartridge forks. They've got some decent amount of travel, and they're fully adjustable if you get the S model, so I'm looking forward to that. So these tires were actually newly developed by Dunlop. It's the DT3R street tires, and they were developed specifically for the FTR1200. So I don't know if they're actually the best of the best of the best for the bike. I'm assuming that you can get some regular street tires once these things wear out. So, I mean, that's cool and all. They look badass. They look aggressive. So it looks pretty cool. But, like, once again, I'm not too sure on the actual performance of these bikes or how long they last. Now, these brakes are really cool. This is one thing I really liked about the Harley Roadsters, that they did have dual disc brakes up front. I think the Harley Roadster would make a great Harley Sportster Scrambler compared to my Nightster. But, man, you can't really beat the freaking FTR. They got 4-piston Brembo calipers and dual semi-floating 320 millimeter discs, anti-lock control for ensured safety. So I mean, it's like ABS on the S version, but man, these things, you're gonna stop on a dime. You're gonna stop on a dime. And you definitely need that much stopping power with this much power. So the driveline, this is kind of what I'm interested in. I have a belt drive on my Sportster. I have the belt on it, and then I'm getting used to a chain on Nikki's Rebel 500. So this is gonna be kind of interesting to have a belt, or I mean not a belt, but a chain, and it's gonna take a little while to get used to. So I wonder how strong, or what type of a chain I need to have for this type of bike, because this bike has a lot of power. It does have a 6-speed, so my Sportster is a 5-speed. Nikki's bike has a 6-speed, so I'm assuming this bike is gonna be freaking badass on the interstate. If you're gonna take it on the interstate, it's gonna be a light bike, but for me personally, I've taken light bikes on the interstate, and it's perfectly fine for me. So it's supposed to be a smoother power delivery and reduced maintenance. So I guess they changed the torque and they changed the power delivery at more of a flat line, to where you're not having to go way high RPMs to really hit that power. You can actually get quite a bit of power towards the bottom, and you can get more when you start, twisting that throttle. So it's going to have really good transfer to the rear wheel because of the chain. I've actually never had problems with the belt, but I like the chain, I really do. So the handlebars are pretty much standard handlebars. They're flat tracker handlebars. They're from Pro Taper. They're rubber insulated to reduce fatigue, so that is very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that on anything that I was about to buy for my bikes. So this is pretty cool that they're doing something that's a little bit unique. Cruise control. This is insane. So it's got cruise control and it's standard on all the models. Guys, this is actually pretty cool. I've always liked cruise control on in my car, so this will be interesting. I've never had it before. As you could tell just by the controls on here. You got the horn on the left side, cruise control. It looks like turn signals. The left turn signal is on the left side, and then you got hazards, and then I don't know what that button is next to the turn signal and cruise control. That might be something that you can use to control the ride command. So the headlight is full-on LED, very high output. This is something that I did an aftermarket upgrade to my Sportster, so it's something that I was gonna do to the Indian Scout anyways. I'm glad it comes standard. Taillight looks pretty cool. It looks like you don't really have to do a fender eliminator, but there is there's a license plate. There you go. The license plate is down next to the tire, kind of like the Ducati Scrambler. So I don't know if I'm gonna like that too much, but it's not that bad. I like it. So the LED taillight is high output and low maintenance. I'm guessing because it's LED, and LEDs last a long time. But I wonder how you replace that. I wonder if you have to go through Indian, because you see how it's not just a bulb. Yeah, so I wonder how that's gonna go. The touchscreen is a crazy, crazy thing. It's got a 4.3-inch high visibility LCD screen. It is pretty neat. You can actually connect your phone to it. You can control your phone through it. You can control music through it. You can change up your screen. It's basically the Indian ride command system. So I think it has GPS on it. I'll have to double check, but it's pretty neat. It sticks out a little bit like a sore thumb. I wish it was probably a little bit closer to the handlebars, but I'll have to see it in person. But yes, it does have 3 ride modes as Sport, Standard, and Rain mode, so that's pretty cool, honestly. That technology I've never experienced on a bike, so this will be something absolutely huge and new to me. You have Bluetooth to sync your phone and your music to the display. So it has USB fast charge plus data to easily charge your mobile devices. I wonder what kind of data you can actually put into this with your phone, because it does say plus data to easily charge mobile devices. So you can charge your phone, and then on top of that, you can transfer stuff. So I wonder if you can transfer certain maps, maybe like a saved Google offline map or something like that. So that'd be kind of cool. 489 pounds. It's lighter than my Harley Sportster. The trail and rake, like I said, I don't know too much about it, but I'm assuming it's a little bit less than a cruiser. So you're gonna have higher turning, but maybe a little bit less stable when you want to let go of your hands. Who knows? The ground clearance is 7.2 inches. Like I said, my Harley Sportster is 3 inches, and then the Roadster is 5 inches. So this is gonna be a very high bike. Now I'm gonna go over some details that they don't have in the video. Is that, yes, it's gonna have that 7.2 inch clearance, but it's also gonna have a 33.1 inch seat height. Now that's showing from the tire to the passenger seat. Okay, so the tire to the passenger seat. So the actual seat height for you as a rider is going to be a little bit less. I think it's going to be closer to 31 inches, which is not too bad. But considering the Scouts are like 25, 27 inches for the seat height, it's quite a bit. So I'm going to see if I can actually sit on this and flat foot it. If I can't flat foot it, we'll figure out a way to make it work. But it looks pretty cool. I really like a lot of it. So it does have a 19-inch front wheel and an 18-inch rear wheel. That is something that's not shown in the video. So it's a 120 by 70 19 up front, a 150 by 80 18 in the rear. So you're gonna have a fatter tire in the rear just a little bit, but you're actually gonna have a pretty decent sized fat tire in the front. My Sportster has a 90 up front, and this is a 120. So it's gonna be a little bit different, but the 150 in the rear is gonna be pretty badass. Like I said, there's some things that's not listed. So it's gonna have, for the colors and the different looks, it's gonna have Indian Motorcycle Red over Steel Gray, a Titanium Metallic over Thunder Black Pearl, and then the race replica color, which is gonna be the S. That's gonna be a pretty badass color. That's what I'm gonna get. I wanna get the race replica. And it's gonna have 3 modes, like I said: Sport, Standard, and Rain. It has a lean angle sensitive ABS, so that's actually pretty neat, pretty helpful. Stability control, has traction and wheelie mitigation control, has USB fast charge ports, ABS, cruise control, has a ton of stuff in here. and I really can't wait until it comes out because it's gonna be badass. Now, so if you want the S, which is I want to get, it starts at $14,999. Now you're gonna have to pay a little bit extra if you want to get the race replica color, which is $15,999. So it's an extra $1,000. So basically 16 grand for this bike. But if you don't want to have that, you just get the regular Indian FTR, which still has a lot of badass features. Okay, but it's just not the S. It doesn't have, you know, it doesn't have the ABS included, but it still has a lot of cool things. Now that costs $12,999. So if you want to get the race replica with the ABS, with the different colors and everything, you're looking at a $14,999 versus the $12,999 with the FTR 1200 regular versus the FTR 1200 S. Well, let me know what you guys think. I know this is a little bit different type of video and it's a little bit longer, but I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and I have a deposit down already since August, and I can't wait to see what this looks like in a couple months whenever I can actually get my eyes on it. But with that said, I hope you guys ride safe, be safe, and I'll see you guys later.